Hello.
Sorry about that, dude.
Yeah, no worries, bro.
Alright, just to let my listeners know, this is MC Killah on the phone here.
Yeah, how you doing?
I am doing well. What was that I just heard?
What's that, sorry?
I hear something playing in your background. What is that?
It's Miguel.
Miguel.
Miguel, yeah, what tune is this? It's, Skywalker. Hip-hop video with Travis Scott.
I'm oblivious, buddy. I'm sure it's popular. I don't know what you're talking about, but... yeah, and for my listeners, if you're wondering why I'm apologizing, I accidentally just hung up on Killah. We had connected, and I hit the wrong button and hung up the phone. So, with that, I appreciate you taking the time to chat, buddy. Really, I do.
Hey, no worries, bro.
And I know you can't see what I have up as your picture right now, but you know your it's like a graffiti photo. It's very colorful.
Oh, yeah, I recall that picture. That was taken a while back.
Well, that's what I'm using right now is your photo, and it's the first time I can honestly say that the artist's photo is more colorful than the shirt that I'm wearing. It's a great. I love it. I think it's a great picture. Who took it?
Who took that? That was actually what does it say on the?
It says Sixth Dimension.
I think it was Dubhub.
Sixth Dimension.
Yeah, Dubhub.
Dubhub? Dubhub is Sixth
that
Dimension?
Was,
okay.
Matt, a fellow named Matt. I guess he was in the scene a while back. They were throwing events. I've done a few of their events as well back in the time. I was actually part of Dubhub for a little while. But they fell off somewhere, so I don't really know what happened with that, right?
Gotcha. And yeah, I'm out of touch,
but
man.
That was actually the old Solid Apparel location up on College and Spadina there, where they did the block party.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, you getting cut off there?
No, it's just the music. I can't talk to you if the music's in.
Oh, the music's back on, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go, my bad.
No problem, buddy. It's okay. And here's the thing, man. I do this live, so I can't edit this, but that's okay. If you guys like Miguel, to my listeners, I hope you're loving those clips.
Hey, man. It's a pretty bad track, dude.
Okay, I want to dive into just some fun questions. The UFC 222 was on last night. Were you watching that? Are you a UFC guy?
No, I'm not really into it, man. It's not really my cup of tea, right? So
do you like
I didn't really get into the whole UFC thing last night, so can't really say too much about that.
How about wrestling growing up? Were you ever into like WWF wrestling or WWE?
Yeah, when I was a child, yeah.
When I was a child?
I'm talking like early 80s.
No, same thing. You know what, though? Here's the thing. I don't watch it anymore, but I've caught myself recently putting on old 1988, 1989 Saturday night main event, WWF, like Brooklyn Brawler versus Owen Hart. You know, just watching the old matches. And I don't even think I watched the matches as much as I just throw it on and try and remember the time. Like, where was I when I first saw it, you know?
Yeah, no idea, man. My memory in those days are a little foggy, right?
Yeah, I think it's.
I remember a lot of the old wrestlers like Jake the Snake and, like you said, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. Who else was there?
Do you remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
Yeah.
That guy actually came to my house and smoked a joint with me. When I was,
really?
Yeah, it's a long story. I won't get into it, but I have a friend who's a referee, and he used to bring wrestlers to my lobby area, and he would come up and he'd be like, "I can't stick around. I got King Kong Bundy or I got Tatanka, whoever in the car," and I'm like, "Dude, bring him up." And one day, without telling me, he brought Hacksaw Jim Duggan to my house. And that was.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I've been thugging. Girls be rubbing and tugging.
Listen to you.
It's like a bar right there.
Okay, that guy. You know what? What you just did reminds me of, I believe, the guy that introduced us, which was MC Timbo. Was he not? Was that not how you and I met?
Yeah. I remember Timbo back in the old days when you were being Mr. MC Vivid.
I was little shit, I think, still back then, man. I was MC Little Shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
And
hey, we're all little shits once in a while, right?
And have you talked to him at all lately? Have you talked to MC Timbo?
No, I have no clue. I don't really talk to too many people, to be honest with you, these days, and then I'm a little more focused on other things, right? So.
Gotcha. I guess the last I heard, the guy was out in Calgary. That's the last I heard of him.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, last, but then I thought he was in Barrie or something like that. I don't know if Damager would know more, probably. I'm sure he talks to him, because Damager lives in Hamilton now, but I haven't really hung out with him yet, so.
Gotcha. I want to talk also, okay, I know I met you for the first time through Cody, but you and I performed at 254, I believe, together a lot in the earlier days. Was that like one of your stomping grounds in the early days?
Yeah, 254. Then I was doing Sunshine Wayne's, Metropolis Records, the Big Bop. You know, some of those little venues that I began my career as an MC. And then I did like the Old Cool House. And, you know, I've done a lot of venues that are not around anymore.
You remember the when you say the Old Cool House, are you talking about the government, or are you talking about the one that was on like Queen Street West or whatever?
Yeah, the government, the whole,
government.
You know, it was just an empty warehouse pretty much, where it was divided up back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like the drum and bass room was a small little room tucked away in the corner, and then the main area was like divided with like house, trance, drum and bass, the old days, right?
I think they called that back room the Orange Room. I think.
Not in the old days, no. It was like the warehouse, I believe.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Okay. And I remember the warehouse. I remember that name.
It was empty. It didn't have like all, you know, the fancy setup and decorations. It was literally just like the warehouse with like one little room tucked away where all the drum and bass was when it first started, right?
Well, you know what? I think we're getting ahead of ourselves just in the fact that I want to start with. Do you remember your first rave experience?
Yeah, that was, as mentioned, the government back in 1999.
What party was it?
I can't remember what event it was, but I knew there was all kinds of music playing. Like I said, happy hardcore, house, trance, like, you know, every genre. So it was pretty cool. I got introduced to one of my good friends that I'm still friends with today, Darren Thompson. He was all into that. And that's when I got into like the whole scene. Like at first it wasn't really my cup of tea, and then I got invited out, and then I started going to raves all the time, and then that's when I started emceeing, right? I actually started emceeing. The first club I ever performed at was Sunshine Wayne with DJ Bass Ride, I believe it was. Do you remember him at all, Bass Ride?
No, and not to say that he wasn't. The thing that throws me back when you say Sunshine Wayne's is I don't remember them playing jungle music. Did they play a jungle set there?
Yeah, they played everything there.
That was
like one of my favorite spots to go to. I was there all the time.
Really? Sunshine Wayne's, I knew it as what I knew of Sunshine Wayne's was it was a place that you'd go, I believe, on a Friday night, and you could party until the Saturday morning, and then there was like 3 or 4, and it was happy hardcore. It was all Candy Kids. And there'd be like 3 or 4 hours in between when it closed and when Comfort Zone would open. So everyone would go over to the Waverly Hotel, and you'd rent a room for like a few hours because they rented by the hour at that place. And
yeah, I remember that. The Zone, and we'd party back and forth from the Zone to the hotel.
Yeah.
From the hotel to the Zone.
But here's the thing, like, you know what it is, Killah, is that you're talking about. I think you're a little older than me, first of all. But when I was in the Sunshine Wayne's era, I was a Candy Kid. So if there was a jungle night, I wasn't going to it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm talking 99, 2000.
Oh yeah, I'm talking early, like, yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
Exactly. So I wasn't a junglist yet, right? So I believe it. I believe, like any venue, it's like going, really, hit the Big Bop played jungle? Well, shit, man. If the promoter rented the Big Bop, they played fucking jungle. And that's, Wayne.
Exactly, but there was 2 floors, or multiple floors, I believe, in the Big Bop.
Well, the Big Bop actually had 5 rooms. There was the Cathedral, the Reverb, the Big Bop, Holy Joe's, and is that everything? I think that might be everything, because I rented it all once.
Yeah, I don't remember at all, man. I have no idea.
But that's cool, man.
Too many shows. I have flyers, but I can't get at them right now. Like, I remember even playing, like, in Mississauga back in the day. Like, what was that bar? What was that club Orchard Mansion or some shit like that. With like El Natural and Sniper and everybody.
I know what you're talking about. And Medicine Muffin, I think, was involved as well.
Yeah, I actually have that flyer still, but that's not accessible right now. But that's where I was like early 2000s, I believe, too. Because I think they were doing like a weekly or a monthly though, or something like that.
Yeah, man, and you're taking me way back too. I don't remember. I don't know.
I remember doing a show in Kingston. I remember the first time I had to see you, and it's like I didn't even really want to. My buddy's like, this guy is not hyping the crowd up. Everybody's just sitting down, and he was like really pushing me to do it because he's saying I was good, and I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't even have an MC name, but I got on stage and I rocked it, and everybody was asking me what my performance name was, and I'm like, I have no idea. I just jumped on right now, and then I got into like the whole MCing factor thing, but I didn't treat it like a business. If I knew what I know now then, I'd probably be a little more ahead of the game, right? But you live and learn, and you just strive to go further, I guess, with the career, right, if that's your passion. But yeah, I remember doing that, man. That was a good feeling, right? And then I played in Kingston. I can't even remember what day that was, but that was like early 2000s. One of my big shows I did in Kingston at some like club that was formed like a house with multiple floors.
Well, and you know what? I want to dig in on what you just said because it's a little different than I think most people's paths in that you're saying that you went to a club, you didn't prepare to MC or even have a name. They asked you to get on the microphone and you began to perform. What were you performing? Were you freestyling? Did you already have a book of lyrics?
Yeah, I was just, no, I don't know. I was just making shit up, right, I guess, and just kind of like using my imagination and just working with the people. I don't even think I was even like chatting bars or anything like that. It was more of a hosting type vibe back then, right? So that's what I was doing. I believe I can't really recall. It was a long time ago, but I know everybody was impressed and everybody was dancing, and I kind of fell off the map for a while. Then I got back in 2009 when we did the whole Tiger Style Sound Bully thing, and Paul came up to me and wanted me to get involved with that, and then we're doing that, and then I just kind of haven't stopped since then, right? So I've just been going and going and going, traveling Europe and seeing the world and playing with like listeners that I grew up with and like people that inspired me to do what I do, like Skibba, Shubba, like all those guys. And, you know, like even in the old days, I've seen Stevie Hyper D one time. I think it was at the bingo hall, and that was the last time. But I never got to MC with him, unfortunately. That would have been sick, right?
All right, let me ask you, you said that the first party you went to had all types of music within it. Happy hardcore, trance, techno, jungle. What was it about jungle music that attracted you over all other musics?
Because it has like the hip-hop vibe, reggae vibe, drums. I used to be a drummer as well in like younger days. I used to have a set of drums, actually, a beginner set, and that's kind of what influenced me to liking drum and bass. And it kind of had like that hip-hop vibe. You know, when DJ Drip was playing, and like Kinetic, and like all those older names. And then now it's just changed dramatically with the whole new jump up sound and MC friendly type music compared to the old days where it's like tech stats and like really dark and fast and kind of got like that, you know, reggae vibe to it. As we call it, reggae jungle, right?
Well, yeah, and it is funny that the music, like you say, it is a lot more MC friendly, even though it didn't seem like that's where the music was heading towards. It's funny how it's gone that way.
Yeah, everything just changes now. It's like all about MCs and DJs working together, you know what I mean, and making everything work perfectly, you know, with the people and whatnot. But it's a challenge, especially out here.
Where are you? Are you in Toronto? Are you still living in the city?
No, I live in Burlington now by the beach.
By the beach. Down by the beach.
By the beach, man.
Okay, who would you say out of all the MCs influences you the most?
What's that, sorry? I didn't get your last part.
No problem. Out of all the MCs, let's say drum and bass or hip hop, any MC you've heard, what influenced you the most or who influenced you the most?
Killah. He influenced me the most. Like, that's how I learned. I would listen to his tapes every day and just kind of mimic what he did. And then now it's like even hard to say. There's a lot of good MCs out there, right? A lot of talented people in Toronto, like worldwide. So it's hard to say now. Like, Z and A2 are pretty much the ones that push me to write all the time. So I've been kind of going with that, learning how to write, pick up the pen, and kind of have more bars, because that's kind of like what we're into, what it's about, with the jump hop music and everything. So me and Z put out a couple of tracks on his album, The Grind, which is with DJ Melody from the UK. And then the other track we did was with Filthy Habits. The track was called Abandoned. We met them actually when we were in Amsterdam in Belgium. We did a show with them out there actually not too long ago. And Decoy's on that as well from the UK. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I don't want to have the dead air. I didn't want to kill what you were saying if you were still going.
No, it's all good.
But, okay, and it's interesting. You're right. You grow up listening to one people, and then as you grow, the people that you play with somewhat become your influences as well. And A2 and Z are definitely making a great name for themselves and representing Toronto internationally. That's great. So keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Yeah, man, it's been a journey and all the ride, that's for sure. And you know what I mean? It's a tough industry to crack, especially out here. But when you go international, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Like, it's pretty amazing. Like, all the people I've met through music and the countries I've been to, and who would think actually like drum and bass would take you? You know what I mean? Like, that far. And like, especially, you can even earn like a living off of it, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's a little harder out here.
Yeah, it's not much of a scene, but okay. With that, let me ask you this: what responsibility, or I guess, what responsibility do you think we as artists in our scene have to this industry?
Like, our responsibility?
Yeah, as individuals, what do you think our responsibility is? Do you think we have one? Or do you think...
Yeah, we have a responsibility, I would believe. Like, we need to progress. We need to, work harder, write more music, try to put out music videos, tracks. Especially, like, being on stage, it's a big responsibility. You can't be all drunk and stupid and act like an idiot. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know what I mean? But I've had my moments, but I've kind of tried to put that aside. But, yeah, we have responsibilities because... You have to impress certain people, and you can't rub people the wrong way, and you know what I mean? You can't be like, I guess, like an arrogant asshole, and you kind of just need to like work with the people. Like, that's the big responsibility, is kind of connecting with the people. Because if you win the people, you get the bookings and you get the support, right? So that's a big responsibility, I think.
No, and I agree with you. I can also admit to being stupid at times and regretting things I've done and learning over the years. Another responsibility I think I've taken on my own is when I see people that are in dire straits, if you will, people that are going down the wrong path in my eyes, I will reach out. If I see it from the stage or I see it through the industry, or one of the things is, nowadays we tend to laugh. Somebody goes so far down a hole, it's like, oh my God, what happened to him? Oh, he's going to be dead or da soon, and people just forget. If I hear those stories, I do my best to reach out to that person and try and offer support.
Okay.
There's an abundancy of it within our culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what are you going to do? It comes with the territory, I guess, right? I guess that's what, like you said, it's good to be there for somebody when needed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Kind of reach out to somebody and, kind of give them that proper direction or guidance. But again, you can only do so much. The person's going to want to have to help themselves, right? Totally, man. Okay, with that, last question for you, buddy.
This is my infamous vault question. If you could put 5 items into a vault that would encapsulate our rave culture, what would those 5 items be?
The 5 items of what? Sorry, I didn't get that.
No problem. If you could put 5 items into a vault that would encapsulate our rave culture, what would those 5 items be?
Capture the rave.
So I'll give. Do you want an example of past answers I've heard?
What's that, sorry?
I said, do you want examples of past answers that have been given?
Yeah, sure, why not?
People have thrown in, like, one guy actually threw in the Cool House. He threw in the whole club. Another guy threw in England. Some people have thrown in horns, whistles, flyers, dancers. Just, you know, I don't want to ruin the possibility that if I keep saying shit, you'll have nothing else to say. So, but those are ideas of things that people have thrown in.
Oh, that's what they want to put, put the rave in the vault, you're saying, pretty much, right?
Exactly. What would you do if you wanted to? Okay, so imagine this: you're putting 5 items into a vault that in 10,000 years, some civilization's going to open it up, and you want them to know what the rave was. What would those 5 items be?
Oh, well, I would say the vibe, the music. You need the people. The light show is a big one for me. And I guess sound.
The sound, like the specific sound system.
Yeah, the music, because I already said the music. You need the music, the people, you know what I mean? You need the vibe. So I guess that would pretty much cover all 5 aspects of it.
Here's the thing, I'm going to be honest with you. Those are some flaky answers, Killah. The vibe. I got sprinkle some vibe into that shit. I'll let you go. I'm not going to hang you over the fire or anything, but come on.
It's a hard question, I guess. Tell you, I don't know, man.
You know what? I'll say that in fairness, if you haven't heard my shows before, you and I didn't exchange questions. So a lot of times people have asked for the questions before we speak, and I get to this question and they can't answer it, and I'm like, you read the questions before we spoke, and at least you didn't.
Yeah, I've never even read the questions.
Exactly.
I don't even know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're telling me 5 things about, you know, the scene that you want to put in the vault. Well, for one, you need the people, and then you need the entertainers, you need the music, you know, you need the energy, the positive vibes, like.
How about this? Like, when you think rave, like, I'm gonna make some answers. Like, I think flyers. You know, flyers. Do you remember collecting flyers? You remember you'd have them on your wall, or after?
Yeah, I never really put them on my wall. To be honest with you, I never collected flyers.
How about the ones with your name? Do you remember the one, like,
yeah,
the first?
I collect all those. I have a whole box.
There you go.
Storage.
There you go. So here's the thing, and there are some like myself that are so narcissistic that, like, for instance, I haven't had the chance to interview myself, and I don't think I will. But if I did, my vault would have a Vivid Mix CD. It would have the first flyer I was ever on, the first party I ever threw. You know what I mean? It's very me.
Yeah, it's like your memories of yourself that you're putting into a vault.
Exactly.
Yeah, you kind of asked me about the rave, like what would I put in the vault about a rave. You didn't really ask about, like. Hey,
these are rave encounter. Like, I'm not just saying I'm throwing.
I'm trying to not really think about myself, though.
Well, you know what? One guy. It's funny you say that. I forget who it was. Dylan, actually, from Sweet Sensei. He didn't understand the question, I don't think, at first, because he put in his cat. And I was like, your cat? What does your cat have to do with drum and bass? And he's like, I'm sorry, what was the question? And I think what
now that you put it like that, yeah, I would definitely put, like, my first flyer or my first lanyard or, you know, wristband or, you know, my microphone or, you know, my written handbook of my bars would definitely go in the vault if you kind of want to go there, right? So.
Okay, here's the thing. I think of the horns. You remember the old horns crew?
Yeah, those things were annoying, but yeah.
Or
the vibe for sure.
Right, or whistles. You want to talk annoying whistles? You thought the whistles and horns those were annoying, but the light show was okay. The light show was okay.
Yeah, I remember the days with the what are those, baby soothers?
We called them nooks. They were called nooks. And the thing is about those, it was for kids that were on a lot of drugs that would chew away on their face, so they put those things in their mouth so they wouldn't, you know, chew away their lips. So there was.
I miss the old rave days. Those are the best times ever, man. Everything was good.
Yes, everything was much better then, and safer. You know, that's another thing.
Everything was good, bro. Those days were fun.
Those days were fun, and we can't have fun like that anymore. And unfortunately, the kids that try and have fun like we used to are playing with like Russian roulette now, with fentanyl, killing people.
Yeah, it's pretty much a bad vibe now, man. And you got to be careful, right? So
very, very much so.
You don't want to be messing with that.
But hey,
I'm too old for that now, man. I'm like 37 years old. I'm like not even 2 weeks. Me and Marcus Visionary actually have the same birthday, March 21st.
Oh, you're March 21st?
Yeah.
I'm March 30th. So you're an Aries.
That I am.
There we go. Aries power.
Male.
Well, hey, before I let you go, can you tell me where people, like, I'm going to ask you to share any links that I could, put in the bottom of this when I post it, but where can people hear you? Where can people see you?
You can see me on YouTube. Like, all my links are actually on my Facebook page if you just want to go there. You can go to my fan page, which is official Killah MC. And then you have my YouTube channel, which is the Killah MC. All the links are right there, though, if you want to check out the Facebook personal page, not the fan page.
I was actually kind of hoping you would have dropped the NAGK thing going on. Is there not a new video coming out with you?
Well, I just did the recording on Thursday when we had that bad snowstorm. Actually, I kind of got caught in the mix of it. But yeah, we had a blast doing that actually. But it's supposed to be coming out today. I'm not too sure, but I know editing takes time, so that was pretty fun. That's kind of kicking off. It's a good look on him, and I'm glad that he's doing that. So brings everybody together as an MC and kind of like just wants to show what they're about, and you know what I mean. So it's teaching me some things because again I have to write. So writing's been a new thing for me the past year.
Well, that's great. It's inspiring you to do better things. So that's great. And
well, yeah, exactly. Because I don't want to be just an MC, right? I want to put some tracks out there, so that way, at least, I have something to show for what I've done. You know what I mean? Like, other than just being an MC, actually having some music out there. So I know I've kind of been slacking on that for a very long time, but I think all of us, like me, A, T, and Z, have finally just kind of said, hey, we're going to actually just do something, you know what I mean, before we get any older, because there's not too many drum and bass MCs in Toronto, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's not as much as there once was. That's definitely for sure.
No, there was a lot back then, man. Like, I did a party with MC Trigger, like, last year with Capital J in Hamilton. He just came out of the woodworks, and we've done a few things actually together, which was pretty cool because I used to watch him growing up as a kid, like at Next Junction events, and see with Capital J and all that. Like, I remember owning, cassette tapes with those guys on it, and then I'm like playing with them. So it's pretty cool.
I you know what? I feel that way talking to, not yourself, because I've known you, Charles, for almost 20 years. But some of the guys that I've talked to, I'm honored to be talking to them. So I can definitely, I can imagine what it's like to tour or get on stage with them. That's got to be really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, bro. Like, all the people you grew up listening to, even the performers out in Europe, and then all of a sudden now it's like I'm performing with them on stage now. So it's exciting, right? Especially like when I threw that party with Saigon, with SAS, what was it, last summer, right? When we brought down Skibba, Shabba, Fantasy, and I got to, MC with Skibba. It was a pretty sick feeling, man. I was looking. Me and Skibba, like, talked the whole time when I had him at the hotel in Marriott there in Toronto. I know we all went out for dinner, and it was pretty cool, man. So
that is cool.
One thing to check off the bucket list.
Well, and you know what's really neat? That's honestly one of the things that got me at the beginning years entrenched in the jungle was I knew I was only 1 degree away from the biggest of the big. I knew that as a rock, because I was in a band at the time as a drummer, like yourself, I was a drummer growing up, and I knew no matter how good my band got, I was never going to be able to call Bon Jovi and say, hey, you should listen to my song. But by focusing on this music, I knew it wasn't too far of a reach to get myself to the top level, if you will. You know what I mean? And
no, I know what you mean.
And it's true. It's true listening to you. Like my pursuit obviously changed over the years. I started getting into wanting to do different things. But I've met these guys. You know, I got to MC for Andy C, and that was really cool. And to shake his hand, and you know, DJ Hype, Ronnie Size, all these guys. They're guys I grew up listening to, and I later got to meet.
Yeah, sick, man. It's awesome, man. I've done all that too. You know, Hazard, DJ Hazard, and same with Ronnie Size. I played with all the big acts.
Oh, I didn't get to play with them. I did not get that. The only big name was Andy C. Everyone else I can just say I met and I spoke with, like doing a radio show or interviewing or whatever the hell I was doing. And even for Last Cyrus, I was the stage manager is what they made me. Basically, I was the guy. I think you were emceeing, and my job was to make sure you guys had your drinks and shit. But it was just basically like give Aaron something to do. You know what I mean? Like Aaron wants to be here. Give him something to do.
Yeah, I was at the Last Cyrus with Brian G and whatnot.
Yeah, do you remember I was running around with a knapsack making sure everybody had drinks?
Yeah.
That was my job. Make sure everybody's happy. But
That's
so yeah,
funny.
so and then
that was the jam, man.
it was a great party. It was a great vibe. But you know what was really cool about it was a lot of people like myself even we hadn't seen each other in over a decade, you know, because we really have moved on in life and done other things. So we might have hit parties here and there, but never had we all come together like we did for that one party. That was great.
That should be a regular thing, because that's why the parties are successful when everybody works together, right? Like there's so many like small events going on where it's taking away from each event, and it's like all separated now and saturated, which is, you know, not like the old days at all, where, as I was saying, it was like drum and bass and house and trance and happy hardcore, and you know, you had like DJ Unabomber and like Viper and like, you know, Jello and all these old names. You know what I mean? Medicine Muffin, Bass Rise. I can keep going and going and going. But you know what I'm saying?
Somewhat. Like a lot of the old names have moved on. Like the guys.
They're older.
They're older. Exactly. Well, and the thing you say about we should do that more often. You can't have it's like having a game 7 every night. The reason why a game 7 in sports is a game 7 is because it's a game 7. And that Cyrus was what it was, not just because of the lineup. Yeah, that was a great fucking lineup. Pardon my French.
No,
but it was
all the old school heads.
It was, and not just that, it was over a decade since Cyrus had thrown a party, I believe. So it was
that too, and that's why I was like kind of, you know, I was pretty shocked when Sniper wanted me to be involved and join up with Cyrus. Man, that was a pretty big, you know, look, and it was a good feeling that I was honored that he asked me to, you know, be involved. So I grew up with those guys as well, and going to their events and following them and going to Turbo nightclub in the basement and all this other, you know, old venues that are not around anymore.
Yeah.
System South Bar was a big one too.
And you know what? Nobody's going to remember them because you didn't put them in the vault.
Shut up. I forget.
Anyways, buddy.
That vault question was kind of tricky, to be honest. Either I'm a little slow or what, I don't know.
You're going to be sitting there tonight, and you're going to be going, shit, I have 20 things I'd put in that vault now.
I got lots of things I would put in that vault, man, but, you know, it's too bad that vault can't open up now, you know, and kind of just change the whole thing about the scene a little bit. But
that's an interesting one. Now that you say that, I'm like, if they made a vault 20 years ago, what would it have had? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the problem is, I think, is that we don't have all ages. That's why. So we're not introducing our music to, you know, new blood. It's just the same ears that are hearing it over and over again, right?
We've had that discussion a few times on my show now. I'm all for all ages, but promoters are against it because of the risks. You know, fentanyl is killing people, and the liabilities are just too high right now.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do though? Like, you get the security guards to like strip search like everybody that goes into the club? Like, I don't know, man. People have their ways of bringing stuff in. There's not much you can.
Well, no,
do.
what it is.
It doesn't matter.
It's not. It's
No matter
not.
how old you are, man. Everybody does drugs and everybody sneaks it in. You know what I mean? So it's nothing. You can't get away from it.
That's not what the argument is really. What it is when you rent a club, you can usually, if you work it out correctly, you share the club owner's insurance. So the club owner will let you rent his club, and if something bad happens, then his insurance will cover it. So if you want to do all ages, well, here's what I'm getting at. So if you want to do all ages and you ask a bar owner, right away they go no. Because first of all, I can't sell my bar because your kids are in here. Whereas before they might say, give me an extra $5,000, you can do all ages. Now they're going no. So the only way to do it is to do it like the massive or the compound jams are. Now you're taking over 100% liability. Now you don't have the club owner's insurance. So now you've got to pull out your own insurance.
Nothing, so you're like a huge liability, and then you could have a lot of problems, I guess, right?
Exactly that. So
you want to avoid all that. Yeah, actually, I remember Marcus and I kind of talking about that, and that's, now that I recall that conversation, that's kind of what he said too. So.
Well, and I'm glad because he's not one of the people. I talked to a few. Like I say, I've done my head has become an amalgam of conversations. I can't pull who said what because I've just talked to so many people recently, and I just know that. Like, I have the same view as you, Charles, which is if we are going to grow, we need to invest in the future. We need to throw all ages parties.
Yeah, exactly, because if there's no new blood hearing it, it's not going to grow. So that's the problem. It's not like Europe, man. Like, Europe's a total different ball game. They're more laid back about things, but I know they're not too keen on drugs either, but everybody, again, has their ways of bringing it in, right? So, but they still have all ages.
Well, and let's be clear. We're not talking about.
Rampage.
Well, it was a great party.
I was there last year, actually. I was on stage with DJ Gov and Cray and Easy. I didn't get to perform. Unfortunately, I would have been, really, really sick. I wouldn't even know what to do up there.
But let me just say that we're not trying to say that we're trying to get drugs out of the rave or that we don't want people with drugs at the party. It's the deadly ones.
Well, that's really what it boils down to, right? Because you're pretty much saying the whole fentanyl thing and kids ODing and wandering off and getting lost, and they're.
Well, okay. We can talk about this. Because I'm a former drug user. I still smoke weed, but I was a drug addict. I'm clean almost 9 years. So what I would say to your question that you just stated is, as I grew, my ability to obtain my substance became much more educated, I guess. I didn't go to the street corner and ask somebody for meth or coke. I had very close connections, and I either knew the guy that was cooking what was being made for me, or it was coke that I could tell how clean it was. These kids that are dying from these drugs aren't buying from. I would say, I don't know. I'm not there when they're buying it, but they're not educated. They're not buying their stuff from a reliable source. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure, no.
So I'm not saying all older people are better, but typically once you get into your mid-20s, 30s, and you're still using substance on a recreational or functioning level, you're not going to the corner to buy it and then dying in the bathroom.
No, exactly. Well, and again, in our days, or my days, everything was a hell of a lot cleaner too. So.
Well, and what were you doing?
But the thing is now you can get drug kits at the friggin' drugstore now for free if you want them.
You can get those Nooxalin kits or whatever, but
yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, they even have these things for people that OD. You can get them for free too. I can't remember what it is, but I think you stab them with it or something, and it gives them 20 more minutes to live. I don't know. I sound kind of stupid right now because I can't remember the names. So, but they supply those too at the drugstore for free.
It sounds almost like adrenaline.
With people that have a drug problem and are into those sort of bad drugs, then maybe you should carry one of those just to see you can save a life, right?
Well, if you remember, the clubs used to equip every table in the club with those K kits. When kids used to do a lot of ketamine, they'd have those little kits for people that were going into K-holes. Had sugar, I remember, and I remember. I don't remember what was in it. I remember the people coming into the clubs to drop them off before the parties, and they'd put them on all the tables.
Yeah.
Little K kits, they called them. And
I remember all those little things they drop on the table.
But yeah, stuff like that does harm reduction, I guess. And you've also got to look at what drugs are coming into your party. once again, I'm not 100% on this, but fentanyl, I believe, is a downer. So you're not going to spike something like cocaine with fentanyl because people would tell. Heroin can be spiked with fentanyl because it has the same downing effect. I'm pretty sure. So if you've got people coming to your party taking acid and cocaine, you shouldn't have a problem with fentanyl. Do you know what I mean? It's when you have people that take heroin. Do you get like, my line of thought on that? Like,
what's that, sorry?
I said, do you get my line of thought? Like, here's my thing. If you go to there's certain drugs to me that are socially acceptable. If I go to a party, for instance, and people are smoking weed, I don't leave. If people start doing coke, I don't leave. If people start doing heroin, I leave. Because
it's dirty. It's just a dirty. I don't know. It's all dirty at the end of the day, but some things are a little more unattractive than other things, I guess, right? That's something that you should probably do at home.
You should probably just do at home. Listen to you. If you're going to do heroin, you should probably just do it at home.
Yeah, you should probably just go away.
Just go away and be alone. Die alone at home.
Very unattractive. I don't need to see you nodding off.
Oh, dude. Anyways, on that, we said we were going to do 15 to 20. I told you it usually goes longer. We've been doing over 40 now. Thank you.
Nice chatting with you, man. It's all good, right?
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. And you know what? My setup's a little on the primitive side right now, so I hope when this gets better, you come back. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll come back, maybe be a little more prepared.
Yeah, think of that question. I'll ask it again.
Questions.
You know what? I'd like to get you back with A2 and Z. Get the three of you on at once. That'd be nice. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man.
All right, buddy. Well, stay in touch, and we will talk soon, okay?
All right, sounds good. It was a pleasure, man.
All right, take care, Killah.
All right, take care, bro.
Ciao. There he is, MC Killah. Thank you, buddy, for taking the time to chat. Yeah, today was a busy day. Lots of appointments. What I do, I'll be honest with you guys, I tend to book, double book, triple book, because I understand things come up, and they're not able to follow through, and we have to reschedule. So as a result, I double book, I triple book, just to make sure I'm not sitting here on my hands for 2-3 hours. And unfortunately, that kind of backfired where 3 people came through like, okay, let's go. And I was like, oh, shoot. So we were able to work through it and reschedule one of those till tomorrow, and we fired through 3 of them today. So it's a busy day. I also was out with Graywin for a Killah get-together, and we were supposed to go to the grave, but that didn't happen. We were running a little late. So next weekend is Booby's birthday. Would have been Booby's birthday. So I'm going to pick up my aunt, and we're going to go down and pay our respects. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace out.